Okay, so Dennis, you are in the other workshop, right? You are with Isabel.
Oh, sorry, I need to check out here. Yeah.
Okay. Here. Okay, nice. Let's start. Leila told me that you've been working with the Joker's consultation, I think on last Tuesday, right? But not every one of you was able to do it. I think Leila told me that Shamsi and Hans Christian didn't do it yet, right? Okay. So there is someone else has to do it? No? Okay, nice. So
sorry, Andrea.
Yes?
Just to tell you that I'll have to leave because I don't have internet Wi-Fi connection. I'll have to wait a little bit until they sort out the problem. Maybe I'll join later. I
Okay,
just came for.
You can
Okay.
join, yeah, whenever you can. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice work.
Okay, nice. So, so you know already the idea of the exercise, I guess. Yes, it's a 15 minutes consultation. So Shamsi and Anse will be the two philosophers. So let's see who want to be the client. We need two clients among Maria, Marianne, Samuel, and Galit. Okay, Samuel, nice, and Galit. Okay, so who want to start? Shamsi, are you okay to start? Nice.
Yes. All right.
So you know the game. You have 15 minutes. Just let me remind the group the rules. So let's see. Galit, you're gonna be the client with Shamsi, okay? And all the others for the first 15 minutes during the consultation can basically use two jokers. It means that they can say something during the consultation. Of course, the consultation will stop a bit during the intervention. And you can say you can pointing out a problem you see in that moment. You can give an advice, or you can give just a general observation you think could be important. And yeah, the philosopher cannot say anything except to ask to reformulate the comment, or yeah, so to repeat if he didn't understand. And then he can decide what to do. He can follow the instruction or the advice, or he can do differently. So it's his own decision. Yeah. So 50 minutes, and either you can stop with the jokers, either you can write down in the doc your observation, or maybe you already spent your two jokers. You can write some observation in the doc. I will send you now. And the philosopher can decide if using the doc or no. You can decide. You prefer using the docs, Shamsi?
Well, I guess with Galit, try without the doc.
Okay, nice. I don't know if it's a compliment or what, but yes.
Either. Just...
Okay.
One little thing. Last time we were told that we should not, the jokers should not put up the hands. Did you say something about this now? Because it's just say it instead of because.
Okay, so I propose to you. You raise your virtual hand, and
last time.
Yeah, don't worry. If I see it, I will check. Yeah, okay, yeah, but don't worry. It's another day. I prefer like this now. I think it's more easy. So
yeah, but okay, fine. But I just think Sasha was right that it's distracting when someone puts up their hands all the time. So,
yeah, but don't worry. If you want to say something, you raise your hand. I will stop the consultation. You can say whatever you want, and then the consultation will go on. Okay. Yeah, I will check. Don't worry. So let me give you the doc. Yes. Yeah.
Who starts, by the way? Who's the first philosopher?
Shamsi.
Okay.
Okay, so in the chat now you have the the link. And just one last thing before to start. Since we spend some minutes like for the information Laila had to give you, let's decide the time. So 15 minutes for the Shamsi consultation, then Hans Christian the same, so it's half an hour. And then the idea is a bit to discuss about the exercise together or to read the comments you wrote. So I propose at least other 15 or 20 minutes. So basically, I think minimum 50 minutes will be necessary in order to do the exercise. So what time is it now? Is 44. So I propose like maybe until 3:40 we do the exercise. Then we take a 20-minute break. So we're gonna have 1 hour to do the second part, and I will explain you later. Is that fine with you? Okay, so we have almost 1 hour by now. Okay, Shamsi, the stage is yours.
Okay, cool. So, hi, Galit.
Hey.
Okay, so do you have a question or problem that you brought along?
Yeah, my question is, should I sign the petition against the government?
Should I sign the petition against the government in Israel? Right? Okay. All right. Okay. So, what are your inclinations regarding this? Should I do it or should I not do it? What's your inclination?
I think I have to do it, but I don't want to do it.
Okay, so there's some kind of contradiction. Something that you have to do, but you don't want to do it. All right, why do you think you have to do it?
Because it's really dangerous time now, and we should save the democracy in Israel.
All right, but do you find something interesting in your answer right now?
Yeah, I slide from I to we.
Say it again.
I slide from I to we.
Yeah. This is one thing, yeah, and there's another interesting thing.
I don't remember what it's
okay. So you said initially that you have to sign it, and then your answer you said that you should sign it again. So you change from have to the should again. Do you see the difference between have to and should?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Have, there's no room for thinking. You just have to do it.
Right. So have to do is really you just do it.
Yeah.
So my question is again, why do you think you have to do it?
Because of the situation, because of it's critical time. So
okay. So this critical time tells you that you have to do it, and there's no other option.
Have to do that means that there's no other option, but I cannot sign it. So.
Okay. All right. So Samuel?
I suggest Shamsi to make, in order to make Galit think, to ask what would be the worst consequence not to sign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Galit, what do you think would be the worst thing, the worst consequence that could happen if you not sign the petition?
If one day the situation will change, I might want to forgive to myself that I didn't help to prevent from the worst situation.
Okay.
Regret. In one concept is regret.
Yeah. So okay, that's interesting. So the concept that you propose here is regret, an individual emotion. Okay. So the worst thing that could happen is regret, your personal regret. Now, you said that there's a contradiction between that you have to, but you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you justify the I don't want to sign the petition?
Because I think that it's a bit hypocrite from the people that's signing now, which didn't want to activate it against the green, I did call it green card during the Corona time.
Do you think you answered my question?
Yes, maybe it was not clear. I will try to repeat it. I don't want to join the people who didn't activate it against the Corona obligation.
Okay.
Restriction. Corona
Okay.
restriction.
I would ask, I think it's a bit strange that Garlet asks if she should sign the petition. This is apparently something which is important to her. Why doesn't she say what it is about? What's the subject for the petition?
Yeah.
I find that strange that she doesn't come up with it as a first thing.
Okay, thanks, Hans.
Thank you, Hans. Yeah, I think in this particular case, it's about Netanyahu and yeah, but
I
let's
wasn't
check.
born knowing that.
Let's check. So, Galit, what is this petition all about?
Generally, against the constitutional, how do you say it in English? That you want to change the rule of the democracy in Israel.
Yeah.
So
where there are a lot of protesters on the street at the moment. Yeah. Okay. So if I understand correctly, you say you have to do it because otherwise you might regret it, but you don't want to because you don't want to be part of these people.
the people who are against are the one who didn't cooperate, or the one who cooperate with the Corona restriction. And for me,
yeah,
the democratic rules in Israel start to lose their strength during the Corona time.
okay. And this is why you don't want to sign the petition now.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you have someone who says I have to do something but I don't want to, what would you say to that person?
Follow your heart.
Whoa, that's a bit almost esoteric. All right. So what does it mean to follow your heart?
Not to sign it, because I feel it's hypocrisy to join the other people now. I mean, to join hypocritic people.
Okay. So that means to follow your heart means to just skip reason and just to go for whatever you think is right or feels right in this very moment.
Yeah, to be detached from the political situation and let other people play the game.
Other people play the game. So if you say that, would you give yourself that advice?
Would again, please?
Would you give yourself this advice to follow your heart?
This is what happened till now. Yeah.
Okay, so then the question, your problem is solved?
Not really, because I still have the voice in my head that I should do it.
Okay, Marianne.
I'm interested why Garlet is asking this question, because she knows already the answer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And now she says, well, even though, so Garlet, if I understand you correctly, you say you asked this question, even though you already know the answer, but there's still a voice in your head telling you that you should, what? What does a voice tell you?
You should do it. Leave aside your emotion about the Corona time and just do it.
Ah, okay. So you feel like you're being haunted by your bad conscience.
Yeah.
Okay. So
what blood, what to do?
Is it something that happens often to you, or is it just this particular question?
Yeah, it's no, it's something that happened to me.
So there's always some kind of fight in your mind between two opposite tendencies or preferences.
About important issue, yes.
Okay, and how do you usually solve it?
It's being solved somehow. That's what my language at the time.
Okay, hold on. You say it's just that dispute in your mind is just being solved, and you do nothing about it. You just let it happen.
Sorry. Can you get it again, please? I just close this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you just say you do nothing to solve it? It's just getting solved by itself?
Yes, I'm trying not to discuss it with myself intentionally and see what has happened.
All right. How do you call someone who does exactly what you do?
Trust the universe.
Oh, well, that's a very poetic way of formulating it. Okay. So someone who does it like you trusts the universe, yeah? Why are you laughing? Got it. Why are you laughing? I just repeated what you said.
Yeah, because if you hear it from not the proper person, it sounds ridiculous.
Okay, so it sounds a bit ridiculous, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so what would be another concept for this? How do you call someone who shows this behavior?
If it's not coming from inner trust, can be a passive person.
A passive person, yeah. Yeah. And I would maybe also propose the concept of someone being naive. What do you think?
No, somehow I'm not connecting naivety to.
Okay, then that's fine. Then let's stay with the passive. So are you a passive person?
No.
Okay, that's funny, isn't it?
No, it's not funny. No.
It's not funny. Okay.
Anyhow.
Let me tell you why I think it's funny, because you just said that you are a passive person because you show this kind of behavior whenever you have two different opinions in your mind. You rather say you just go with the flow. And I asked you if you're a passive person, and then you say no.
I said that if it's not coming from inner trust, it can be passivity.
Okay.
The intention is different.
Okay, then what is this inner trust, Galit? What is this?
The knowledge from experience that I cannot solve it with my mind. I cannot make decision with my mind. And decisions are made somehow.
How?
In one moment, it's clear for me what should I do.
And how does it where does this clarity come from?
For example, someone says something and it's, aha, I know what I have to do.
Okay, Galit, did I ask you for an example?
No, but maybe
Can I
concrete and
Yes, Maria?
Yes, I advise Shamsi to check the issue of the shoot, because it's several times Galit raised this issue, shoot, and the previous answer also.
Okay, I don't get it, Maria. Could you, like, what would be a question?
Maybe do you have problems with obligations?
Okay, so yeah. Then let's check. Yeah. So Galit, you still feel like you should do something, or you have to do it even, but there's something else that you want to do. So do you have a problem with obligations?
Yes.
Okay.
To restrict my freedom and yes.
Hold on. Obligations restrict your freedom.
Mhm.
Your freedom.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. And the freedom to do what?
To behave according to my own understanding.
Ah, okay. So, and yeah, Hans Christian.
Yes, I would ask if you're waiting for your, like Socrates, the inner daimon to make the decision for you. Are you free? You value freedom so much, but you wait for things to happen by chance. Or by
Thanks, Hans. We have the last 2 minutes left now. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So if you, okay, so you don't like obligations because you rather want to be free. So, and free means to follow your inner trust for it to show, or what does it mean to be free?
Not inner trust to be free. It's to one way of understanding it is behave according to my understanding.
Okay, got it. And can your understanding be misleading?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because sometimes I make mistake.
Ah, so whenever you feel sad, based on your own understanding, that implies your understanding is wrong.
Whenever I feel
sad as a symptom. Did you just say whenever you feel sad, then you know that your understanding is misleading?
No, I didn't mention sad.
Okay, then I misunderstood you. How do you know that your inner trust might be misleading, might be wrong?
No, my inner trust is usually not the right, direct me to the right thing. But my understanding should be wrong sometimes. It's two different things.
Okay, so your understanding can be wrong, but your inner trust is always right.
Not always, but good enough to trust it.
Okay, how do you know that your inner trust might be wrong?
For example, when things are against my expectation.
When things are against your expectations, then
okay, final answer.
Might follow the one path.
Okay, all right. Okay, so yeah, Andrea, I have to stop now.
Yes, it's 1 minute more. Then I think it was interesting. I think it was yes. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Galit.
Thank you, Shamsi. Thanks to Galit. And we are not going to discuss the consultation. We are going to do the second one with Hans Christian and Samuel. So after 15 minutes, and then we're gonna discuss all together at the end. Yeah. Nice. So Hans Christian gonna be the philosopher and Samuel client. Hans, you want to use a doc with Samuel, or you don't need it?
No, I just take a note on my iPad.
Okay, nice. Okay, so let's do the same exercise, and you can start, Hans. Yeah.
Hello, Samuel. Do you have a question for me?
Yeah, hello, Hans. My question is why I tend to be rigid when I do exercises for the program.
Why do you tend to be
rigid?
Rigid. Okay, why?
I tend to be rigid when I do the exercises for the program.
Okay. Why do I tend to be rigid? Do you notice something in your, it is of course a language thing maybe, but do you notice something rigid about the way you presented your question?
No.
You said, my question is why I tend to be rigid. It's as if you're describing the question rather than asking the question.
I don't see it because my question is a why question, so I don't know the.
No, it was the sentence construction. It sounded as if you were describing a question, and it sounded. I mean, that sounded. It's an intellectual way of phrasing a question, of looking at it. Do you think you are? And I know from prior knowledge that you teach at university. Do you think that maybe your academic background can play a role in this rigidity?
Yeah, I think it could be one aspect of my rigidity, but in the same time, since I don't do exercises for university or my daily job at university, I'm asking why in the program I tend to copy my attitude of my work.
Marianne?
I have an advice for Hans. Don't try to propose to Samuel too much. Just let him work for you and for himself.
Okay.
Thank you. Go on, Nancy.
Yes, though I thought it would be pretty obvious to suggest that your background could have something to do with this, and you admit it yourself now. You say that you actually tell me that you wonder why you copy your attitude from work into this. So I think it was right there. Can you think of other?
You don't need to justify yourself. You just go on. You decide what to do. Okay, don't worry.
I try to weave it into the conversation with Samuel.
You don't need to justify what you ask. Yeah.
I didn't mean to justify. I just wanted to weave it into the conversation with Samuel. Yes. Can you come up with some sort of hypothesis for why this might be?
Maybe it is because I see rigidity as a way to ensure myself towards the future.
So what would be if you were to conceptualize it, what is the key word in this?
Security.
Yes. Well, you just mentioned future. I thought security against what?
Towards the future, yeah. Security towards the future. If I have to choose the most important element in my answer is security, not future.
But what I understand about the workplace, but what could happen here if you were not rigid?
If I'm not rigid, it's strange because I think I would enjoy more what I do.
I was about to use a cliche. I don't know if we have it in English, but but do you realize that sometimes success comes from enjoying something?
Can you repeat, please?
That sometimes success comes from enjoying something.
Yeah, yes.
So could it be that when you are rigid, you're shooting yourself in the foot? That is counterproductive.
Rigidity could be yes, I think rigidity is productive.
No, I said that the rigidity could be counterproductive.
Oh, yes, it's counterproductive because it's heavy to handle my rigidity. It's not funny to do what I do, or precisely because I am rigid.
Okay, Maria?
Yeah.
Yes, I advise to pay attention that Samuel has confused a relation to this productive and counterproductive, because he showed the positive sides and then negative sides.
Thank you. I thought I accidentally had said productive when I meant to say counterproductive, but it's right.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. Do you see a curious thing about confusing, conflating counterproductive with productive?
I think that was my listening. I didn't listen very carefully.
Yes, I thought so. Actually, I thought so. Yeah.
In the same time, what Maria said makes sense for me, because I see two opposite sides of rigidity. On the one side, it allows me to be productive, to achieve goals, and on the other, respecting, for example, deadlines. And on the other side, I am I not enjoy.
I get it. Yeah.
Okay, Shamsi?
Yeah, so Hans, Christian, so Samuel is a very intellectual person. You can ask him to be more pragmatic and ask him what he actually has done so far to get rid of his rigidity.
That was what I was about to do. Now I understand what you explained now, that you ended up making you would realize that you made a circular argument just before, but about the productive and counterproductive. Anyway, do you have a proposal for what you could do practically about this, pragmatically?
Yes, I could not to focus on the result, but maybe more on the process.
Yes. So, and is it possible then that if you, Carly wants to say something, but just like to finish this, could it be that that focusing on the process could also lead to a better result?
Yes, yes, I think it is possible, but in the same time, I don't have this result in mind in order to let work your advice.
Okay, nice.
Sort of. Yeah.
Khalid, you can speak.
Yeah, I would ask Samuel about his attitude now, whether it's more rigid or more flexible during this exercise.
Yes, but I would say that you say at the same time you do not have that objective in mind. It sounds like the two layers. It sounds almost schizophrenic that you don't have the objective in mind, but you do have it in mind at the same time. That would contradict with the principle of mutual exclusion, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's contradictory to have these two sides in mind, and still, I think that if I focus on my result, I become anxious and rigid. If I don't focus and I don't care of the result, it could be lead to a good end or no. But in the process, I would have more fun. I would enjoy more.
Yes, so it's a devil or the deep blue sea, but one of them is more enjoyable. That's I don't really. Yeah, but do you have a practical proposal for what you could do? I tried to ask you about that before. You made excuses.
Could be not follow the rules. I'm generally very strict to following the rules. For example, the one that in the program were given, and maybe doing the exercises with more creativity and more I don't care what happened.
Could that be?
Maria,
Yes, I advise to return his initial question with the issue of joy. That he said that there is a less rigidity, he can get a joy, and to check if he has joy in the program.
Do you enjoy the program as such?
Yes, I enjoy the program precisely when I don't care about the results or another judgment, the judgment of my tutor, my evaluator.
So the following the rules can overshadow the joy.
Yeah.
from university, you're used to tiny little pedantic things where you're told that, well, you didn't understand the task, so you fail. I mean, I don't know how rigid you are about that in Italy, but why do you have? Can you come up with a proposal for why you take this into this here? Do you think you will get the same kind of reaction you can get at university when you screw up?
Can you repeat the last question, please?
Do you? Yeah.
Wait, the answer. There are two interventions, Marianne and Marianne. Galit, you need to wait for yours. Okay, yeah.
I think it would be interesting what Samuel thinks. What is more enjoyable, the process or the result in general?
Yes. I do think it's a little bit beside the point, but what do you enjoy the result or the process more in general? I would think I would maintain that you do enjoy, you want to enjoy the process, but there's something holding you back from that.
I tend to enjoy more the result. This is my general attitude. I prefer the results.
I have from previous knowledge.
Galit, you can speak now.
I would ask Samuel about the fear of failure. I need to check what is the worst case of not reach the results.
Yeah, I think I covered it fine. But yeah, well, yes, you enjoy the result more. Would you say you're an impatient person?
Yeah, I tend to be more impatient than temperament or patient.
I have previous knowledge. You told me that you're a perfectionist. Is that is that perfectionism tied closely to your impatience?
Yeah, because the link is the result-oriented attitude. A perfectionist want to have a perfect result, and in order to achieve it, is impatient. All he wants.
So it has to be done fast and well.
Yes. Efficiency, we can say.
But do you think that
yes.
Yeah, so maybe also to bring this topic more in his life in general, are there areas in your life where you're not rigid or wish to be more rigid, to maybe get out of this particular discussion here?
Yeah. Are there times when you are less rigid or than here at work?
Oh yeah, when I play instruments, it's not about results, about the pleasure of playing, for example.
Is the pleasure in listening to someone play who can't play very well? Isn't that exactly where you want a lot of? Isn't that where you want to be very perfectionistic when you're playing? Is a joy in not playing well?
Oh no, it's not about perfectionism, because I'm not very good to play instrument. I started not very recently, I would say, and so it's not to do the best, but only to do.
Okay, Hans, you have 1 more minute.
Yeah, if you were to not follow the rules, do you think that the people who examine your work here would not realize that you were trying to be creative rather than not understanding the task?
I don't see the opposition. Can you repeat? Maybe I
Yes, I mean, if you did not follow the rules here, do you think that you would be misunderstood, that that those who look at your work would condemn you for not following the rules?
No, I don't think so. I think I would be the condemner of the fact that
yourself.
I don't follow the rules.
Okay, nice.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Hans. Thank you, Samuel. Okay, so now it's time to discuss a bit about what we have seen, what you have done. And I propose to start with Shamsi on consultation with Galit. So let me just ask Shamsi first. Shamsi, how did it go from your perspective? Do you have some observation to your own consultation?
Yeah, so my learnings are that next time I use the Google Doc.
Yes.
To
I gave you the chance.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to try it without the Google Doc, but I think next time would be nicer to use it to catch up with certain things that she said, some keywords, and to keep them black on white, so to speak. Other than that, it was quite short, of course, only 50 minutes, and I would have loved to explore more depth this inner trust kind of thing, and where does it come from, and so forth. But yeah, given the consultation as a whole, I would say it was I was satisfied.
Okay, nice. I was a bit surprised you chose not to use the doc, because doc is very useful, especially when there's some people can create some confusion or can try to escape from questions. So it is useful to slow down a bit the process. But you're being courageous, let's say, to do that. And I agree that 15 minutes is a short time. But I think it's useful because this exercise forces you to spot straight away the worldview, the structure of the thinking, instead of collecting information. And so sometimes just with 2 questions you could spot the worldview of the other person. So it's not easy, of course, yes, but I think it's a nice exercise. And so you said you've been satisfied, Sham. Why you felt satisfied at the end of the consultation?
Yeah. So why do I feel satisfied? I guess it is because I had in mind several things that I could have asked if I had the time, which might make her think. And I'm also very interested, as you probably know, Andrea, in results-oriented consultation. So I like when the person thinks, and I guess thinking about this inner trust and maybe possible contradictions and these kind of things would be something worthwhile for Galit to ponder about. So therefore, having found out about this, starting with this rather superficial question, what should I sign the petition, is what I would say a clear strategy, and therefore I'm happy that I have enough food in my mind to bring up in this consultation to make her think.
Okay, nice. Let me just add an observation, since I've been following you like in this month, and I check other consultation you've been doing. I had the impression by observing this consultation, you were a bit less worried to the result, to reach something. You were more like in, let's say, in the process. So because usually this kind of exercise make the philosopher nervous, because the philosopher knows that has just 15 minutes to do the consultation, and people are watching. But I had the impression you were more calm than usual. I don't know if you felt the same.
Well, given the fact that I knew I only had 15 minutes, I wasn't pushing myself in terms of I need to find or get some results in those 50 minutes, but I just play and go as far as I can get. Also, having these jokers, I think on the one hand it's really interesting to see what other people think and talk about, and on the other hand I had to let go of my own strategy. So that's also, speaking of rigidity that Samuel spoke about, it's quite interesting to see how that could actually shake me up a bit. But yeah, and all in all, I was calm because I knew it was wherever we go, it would be nice and interesting to find out something about her and me, of course.
Yeah, nice. Yes, I agree. Indeed, I think this exercise is a good training for the flexibility, because you have to be available not just for the client, but for all the intervention you could have during the consultation. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Shamsi. Any observation from the others? Yes, Maria?
Yes, I also want to say that Shamsi was following to Galit. It was good. He paid attention for her attitudes. He stops her when she starts to confuse or laughing, except the first moment when Shamsi repeats her question. Galit was laughing. And it will be interesting to stop in the initial moment. Yes. No.
Yes. Thank you, Maria. Hans?
I think Shamsu did a good job of trying to keep Galit on track and keep focusing on her contradictions. This is a fundamental contradiction in the whole, in which it says, she starts out by talking about freedom and the country and constitution and so on, how that can be damaged. And then she talks somehow about how she has this circumstantial explanation about how there's something that somehow problems solve themselves, and there is something that will take care of this. How does that? I'm not saying you cannot have freedom if you're religious, but there's some sense, like something which keeps her from exercising the freedom she talks about, and that's, I think, a fundamental conflict.
Yeah, yeah. I think the fracture of the Galit was visible, and the fracture between the wanting and what to do. Yes, is
Shamsa caught on to that immediately when you say there isn't there conflict when you say should and could.
Yes, indeed. In a way, just in 2 questions, he was able to spot.
Exactly.
Yes. Thanks, Hans. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes, Marianne?
I was a little bit surprised because I felt in this consultation, Shamsi was not so focused on the behavior of his client, because normally every little movement in the eyes or every little laughing or something, you get it. And I think this time it was not so much.
Yeah, okay. He dealt with the smile at one point when Galit was laughing. You remember when just he was repeating what she said. But so you are saying that usually he does more than this time.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, just let me check. Shamsi, is that true that you do more usually and this time less?
I think when I'm in the observer role, I spot more than when I'm myself on the line. So I would say yes, I might have missed something in the beginning, but I do try to pay more attention in the consultation myself. So, and I think I did once at least. And I think also in the very beginning, I probably wasn't. I was too focused on the content because I still wanted to find some angle for the consultation and not just go right to the attitude, but rather find some interesting aspects to talk about. So therefore, I guess this is why I did not focus on the attitude or on the behavior in the beginning.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Let me add that yeah, I think that the beginning of the consultation, you were trying to understand him because there was a bit of confusion in what Galit was saying. So you were more on the content, like you said. And yeah, indeed, that's a strategy. But if there is too much confusion, it could be another good strategy to go to the behavioral and in order to avoid this confusion, or to go to the structure, let's say. Yes. But yeah. Okay. Nice. Galit, let me check with you. How was the consultation from your perspective? Did you realize something interesting?
I think that Shamsi picked up some central concept. And if you would have a bit more time, we start to dig in. With just definitely a bit on the surface, we just look for, the concept map, and with the 5 or more, 10 more minutes, we can start to connect it and we'll go deeper. And I get the feeling that the Joker a bit disturbed Shamsi. He had something in his mind. I don't know exactly what, but he want to follow it and just leave me alone with your comment. So I thought that maybe if we were just the two of us, we could follow something.
So basically, the jokers were more distracting for you than for Shamsi. Shamsi was more available to the intervention, but for you was a bit annoying, right?
Maybe, yes.
Okay.
I didn't say that Shamsi didn't follow them, but I felt that he's trying to reach some point, have something in his mind, and just taking him a bit away from the main roots, but I don't know what it is, but I felt that he has something.
So you are accusing the group not to have done a good job with the Joker's intervention.
No.
Okay, why not? Okay, Hans.
I noticed when I think I only suggested something twice. The last suggestion I made, I sensed that Shamsi, well, he didn't want entirely to follow my advice. He wanted to rephrase it. His pride would not allow him to do that. So he used what I said, but he rephrased it again. So
yeah.
Okay.
I had the impression that after your first comment, I think Shamsi didn't think was a nice track to follow, but he followed anyway. Shamsi,
Okay.
you remember?
I remember the second comment of Hans. What was the first one? I forgot.
Okay, I remember that you comment that maybe it was not the point, but you followed anyway. So you've been too nice in a way with the Christian's comment. So remember, in this exercise, you don't have to follow the advice. Okay, yeah. So you can be nasty with people. Like okay. Okay, so one last comment if you have about the Shamsi consultation, otherwise we switch to the second one. Okay, so let's discuss a bit the second consultation. So let me check with Hans first. Hans, do you have any sub-comment about your work? Any observation? We don't hear you. Switch on the mic.
Yes. I appreciate the jokers very much. It's just that at the point I was like, can I get a word in sideways? There were so many, and I found it a bit hard to concentrate on with that, and that it broke the flow of what I did. But yes, I tried to incorporate. Once you said that I didn't have to justify it. I didn't mean to justify. I meant to sort of weave what I said, use that in the conversation with Samuel.
Okay, but even if you didn't mean, you were justifying a bit. Yeah. So. But anyway, which is you think the strongest point of your consultation, and then you tell us the weakest one.
This actually goes both ways, because I tried to ask a lot of clarifying questions in order to establish the nature of the problem. And I know one thing, and that is that, as you said, Samuel is very intellectual, and he evades. He doesn't want to be caught out. He doesn't want you to. He's evasive, so he constantly moves away from you, and his intellectuality allows him to do that very well. So you really have to be on your toes when you have a conversation with him.
Okay, so this is the strong point, yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the weakest point you spot in your consultation?
Yeah, that was that I was punching holes in the air. I was not good enough at focusing, and I wanted to arrive at some sort of conclusion about, without suggesting myself. I wanted Samuel to come up with some sort of answer to the problem, and I think that we did that did to some degree to succeed, but not sufficiently. Okay,
so you were a bit too much result oriented in the consultation. You were focused.
Yeah, and that was curiously, now he talks about rigidity, and I talked about rigidity getting in the way of success, and my focus on the success was an impediment to success.
Okay, so you've been rigid basically.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, nice. Thank you, Hans. Other observers? Yes, Shamsi?
Yes, so I also spotted the rigidity, especially when it came to the academic background. So I think Hans Christian proposed that idea and later picked that idea up again, yeah, as if he was trying to check the hypothesis twice, or wants to confirm it. I think Hans Christian is a very intellectual person who can phrase questions really well, and I think we already talked about this. His English is sometimes very advanced, so one has difficulties understanding it. Also, he has a tendency to make long questions with a lot of explanations, so that one loses the initial question, on the sake of So, but it sounds nice, but yet one loses this. And the last thing that I observed is that it was to a certain degree some kind of intellectual conversation, but not really a consultation as I would have done it. So I would have proposed to go more on the emotional part, to change the paradigm, to not stay on the intellectual, and also to address this other paradigm. And I think this is maybe something that Hans Christian missed or is not focusing on. But he could, I guess, do that.
Yeah. Okay. Let me summarize. So basically, short question, easy question, and paradigm shift. Yeah. Okay. I think nice advice. Yes. Anyone else? Galit?
I think, Hans, you was a bit in your own ideas, in your own mind, and you didn't cooperate enough with the answer of Samuel. I don't have example, but sometimes he said an important thing, an important concept, and you didn't ask about it because it was in your mind. And you are a bit in although you're intellectual, you're a bit in a psychology paradigm when you ask questions. You try to understand the motive, the desire, and less the way of thinking. And third, you're not paying attention to the attitude, which was quite obvious with the smiling from time to time, for example, the smile of someone in a certain point, which can reveal something about his way of thinking and reacting to situation. And maybe because it was in your own mind, you didn't see this reaction of someone.
Okay. Thank you, Dalit. Marianne?
My observation is quite similar. I observed not just long questions, but also a long speech before Hans came to the question he want to ask. This has the risk that you lose the focus on what the client says and be more in your mind, and the client also changes in the mind of the philosopher.
Yeah. Let me add something about this. I noticed as well, like Shams and you are saying that often the questions were too long and a bit complicated sometimes to understand. In fact, and sometimes also there was more questions at the same time. And Samuel didn't know which question to answer, so he has to repeat, for example. Indeed, but sometimes could be useful to have like a long question, or like to say something when there is tension in the client. So it could be a strategy sometimes in order to detach a bit the client from his own, let's say, emotional problem in that moment. But it's not like something that is good to do almost all the time. Yeah. Otherwise, you tend to put yourself too much in the consultation. It was to Hans Christian. Yeah. But let's say in the consultation. Shamsi?
Yeah, maybe to add on this, maybe a hypothesis. So given the fact that Hans Christian is oftentimes misunderstood in consultations, but also in workshops, he might have built up the tendency to explain himself even more, which makes him even more complicated for other people to understand. So it's some kind of vicious circle. Yeah, the experience of not being understood, feeling too long explanations, leading to people not understand him again.
Yes. It's quite common, by the way. I see people when they want to be understood like perfectly, they add stuff and these addictions they made are not useful. They are counterproductive for the understanding. So in a way, is the conceptualization and so if you're shorter, you need to conceptualize more. So it might be that you are more clear at the same time. So in a way, don't add too many words. Take off words and be more concise. Yeah.
I heard you the first time. What I meant to say is that I have been working on with Kate about not asking compound questions, and I can't recall now asking one question and then the other and then another question. So that he had to choose between that. I deliberately tried not to do that. There is one thing I may blame the other, so to speak. Say that Samuel likes to hold the floor. He goes on repeating and so on, saying the same thing and elaborating. And so maybe it's a two-way street that I tend to hold the floor for too long as well. So it's that becomes a vicious circle too.
Yeah. So basically, you speak too much, and you tend to let the client speak too much sometimes, maybe as well. So it's a limit problem. You have to limit more yourself and limit more the client, let's say. Yeah. But let me check with Samuel, since he was the client. Samuel, what do you think about the consultation you made with Hans?
It was difficult for me to concentrate to one question for the things you all said, since there was more than one question generally, and there were a lot of premises before the question, so too many stuff to handle, and a result of conclude.
Yeah, but let me ask you, because I think it's an interesting point. Why do you think now is the case of Hans, but it could be the case of anyone else? Why a person, a philosopher, could make all those premises or sentences before the question? Why do you think is the main cause?
I agree with Shamsi, and I tend to say that it is in order to be clearer, but the consequence is the opposite of the intention. So it's more useful synthetic and conceptualized question in order to stick the client to that topic at time.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I agree. Let me propose a second hypothesis. Second idea is a way to defend your question. It's a self-defense mechanism. You in a way you prepare your question, you justify your question. Yeah. But this can make like heavy and confusion at the same time. Yeah.
And at the same time, the presupposition of the idea you proposed is that you philosopher are the first that isn't not convinced of the question, maybe.
Yeah, okay, it could be indeed a sign of insecurity, let's say. Yes. Yeah. Okay. You want to add something, Samuel?
Sorry?
You wanted to add something? Because I cut you.
Sometimes I had the feeling that my answers were ignored by Hans because they didn't match with his previous preconcept of what is my problem, or how I can solve it.
So you had the impression Hans Christian was sometimes a bit too much with himself instead to be open and available with what you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hans Christian, did you notice that or no?
Yeah, I think the last thing I agree, and I think maybe it is because of this. I also have this perfectionist thing. I want to achieve a result oriented, so therefore I drive at that, and I'm not ignoring the client. I just may appear to do so, to override him. But there's another thing I would say that I agree about the preparation, the lead into the questions. But I think that maybe sometimes a long question, I try to omit unnecessary details. But if you have a very long question, it may appear to be a compound question when it really isn't. And I think there's a difference to who, depending on who you're talking to. I know that with Samuel, I can be quite I can elaborate. I can be quite abstract in my thinking, and he understands that. So it's
Let me propose this as a general principle. I think it's better if the questions are shorter,
yes.
clear,
Yes.
not too many words. Sometimes, of course, you can can make like longer questions.
Yes.
As a general principle, I would go with what Shamsi said before, like short and easy. Yeah. Okay. I will take one last comment, Galit.
I got the impression also from previous consultation that Hans in a way trying to convince the client. So maybe the long answer are a way to change the client mind or to accept his Hans idea.
So okay, you notice that he was imposing a bit sometimes his ideas on the client, yeah, and that gets together with the impression Samuel had before that he wasn't been listening and understood from Hans sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, with the other comment about being in his mind. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Plato would say that you should kill yourself a bit in the in order to philosophize more, yeah. So take off a bit of Hans Christian in order to create space for the other. Yeah, Hans, that could be an advice. Okay. Okay. I think the time is over. Let's say in 20 minutes, like 4:05, we go back and we're gonna do another exercise about consultation. Yeah. See you.
Thank you.